Hey everyone, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk. Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm Chris Lee Kennedy, and this is the show that we bring you the day's biggest movie news with insight into what it all means. Joining me, as always, is AMC Movie News Senior Editor John Campea.
Good morning, everybody. I'm here to neither confirm nor deny the fact that my first pet's name, which was a cat, was Luke Skywalker, but it was true. So that was my moment of sharing. Chris Lee.
I love when you share. And we also have AMC Associate Editor Amy Rose Eisenbach.
Hey there.
No sharing?
In the spirit of Star Wars, the first costume I ever dressed up as was Princess Leia. Boom!
Of course it was.
Ever.
All right, guys, today we're going to get things started with this. Yesterday, reports surged around the internet that Harrison Ford had signed on to reprise his role as Han Solo in the upcoming Star Wars Episode VII. We also gave a word of caution that although the reports seemed credible, no official confirmation of the reports were given by either Disney or Lucasfilm as of yet. Now, Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill, has denied that neither he nor any of his other fellow Star Wars castmates have officially signed on for the new film, but that they are seriously talking about it. According to an interview he did with Entertainment Tonight, Hamill made the following points. Han, Leia, and Luke are in the current draft of the new script, but that they could be written out if the actors choose not to participate. Their roles would not be recast. He believes the movie would be about their offspring as the main characters, and he suggested that he would only do it if the whole gang came back together. So, John, knowing all of this, should Star Wars fans feel it necessary for the original cast members to return?
The word necessary is a great question, but no, it's not necessary for Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill to return. Not necessary. That being said, I mentioned on yesterday's show, look, I trust J.J. Abrams, I trust Disney, I trust all that. I'm sure they can make a great Star Wars movie. But with J.J. being a completely new director, having his own style, whatever, not having Harrison Ford there, not having Carrie Fisher or Mark Hamill there, I think there might be a little bit of a challenge for it to really feel like Star Wars. And I think just their presence there, instantly in our heads, throws that switch. We're home again. We're back to Star Wars. We're back to that galaxy far, far away, And for that reason alone, I really want to see them there. Now, Hamill mentioned something else that's pretty interesting. He brought up the fact that he believes, from his conversations with George Lucas and the conversations he has had with the folks at Disney, he believes the main characters of the story will be the offspring of Han and Leia, and maybe Luke has offspring as well. Who knows? I think that's the way they need to go, because what this tells me is if they're already in the script and that they can be written out, that tells me that the role of Han, Leia, and Luke isn't huge. And that's good news, because I don't think this movie needs to be about them. I think we have the continuation of the story of Star Wars, but it's time that Star Wars becomes bigger than just Luke Skywalker. Star Wars, the universe is bigger than just Han Solo, and that it's time to move forward with the story while having those characters we know and love so much physically there, but make it about the kids. That's how I feel about it. Amy Rose?
I'm so excited. Talking about this galaxy far, far away. I am so excited. Okay, so a couple things about what Hamill said. First of all, I'm very happy to hear that, if those actors do not participate, that they will not be recast.
Yes.
I think that is the way to go, You
can't have the appropriate age Han Solo and just bring in Alec Baldwin.
You can't. No.
Although Alec Baldwin is Han Solo. That could be kind of interesting.
As much as I love him, 30 Rock brought him back for me. So that makes me really happy. I also agree that he should not be, what this is about, the cornerstone of it, but it would be really cool, the nostalgia factor. One thing I'm really excited about this new generation of Star Wars films is that, opposed to the prequel, where they had to be set up a certain way to lead to present day, quote unquote,
yes,
sky's the limits here.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They can really take it wherever. So I really love that idea of just being able to take it where we want. I think they're just going to be so much better.
Yeah. And you just highlighted to me one of my main problems with prequels in general, because you know where everything has to go.
Yes.
If you're going to do the prequel properly.
Yes.
And with a new Star Wars, you can go in all these different directions. I love it.
Yes.
And look, let's face it, none of them have officially signed on yet. I am going to be shocked.
What else do they have going on?
If Harrison Ford, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill don't come back, I'm going to be shocked. Like, once again, we said it yesterday, we'll say it again. Nothing has been officially confirmed. Mark Hamill just said that himself. But I'm going to fall over from shock if it doesn't work out.
Let's get the whole gang back. Let's get John Williams composing it. Let's get the old actors. Let's do this.
Hamill even mentioned in his interview he wants to see Billy D. Williams back as well.
Yeah.
You know, Brandon his smooth Colt 45. I mean, that's the way to go. So
I love that he said that he wanted the whole gang to come back or he wouldn't do it. Nice family aspect.
Let's do this.
Reports began to surface yesterday that Pixar was going to go into production of Toy Story 4 for a 2015 release date, and that all the primary voice cast had signed on to participate in the project. Well, that rumor has been shot down in the last 24 hours with quotes that nothing is in development right now. However, comments have been made over the past year that Pixar has not closed the door on the possibility of a Toy Story 4 project sometime in the future. Amy Rose, should Pixar consider a Toy Story 4? And if they did, do you think audiences would be excited?
Come to mama. I am a huge Pixar fan.
Yeah.
Just what they can do with stories, and like they're not children's movies. They're adult films with amazing, colorful characters. I mean, I love Toy Story. Toy Story 3 made me cry. I do not tear up easily in films. And it was just so sentimental and special. And I feel really connected to an entire audience, children and adults alike. I love Michael Arndt. Obviously, you wrote the screenplay for Toy Story 3. Andrew Stanton, I think, is wonderful. He's been involved as a writer as well. So yes, let's keep the world going. Toy Story all the time. Finding Nemo 2 is happening. I'm a happy girl.
This to me, this is a brain dead issue. Of course you do Toy Story 4. Of course you do Toy Story 4. Now look, I hear all the time from these people, and I rail on it all the time. I am really tired of this stupid mantra that comes from people whenever you mention a sequel. Oh, Hollywood's got no creativity left. Nothing's original anymore. They're just doing it for the money. You like, just think for a second. First of all, I don't know, Amy Rose, favorite show. What's your favorite TV show right now?
Oh my God.
Come on, just off the top of your head, just name one. Any.
I'm mostly an HBO, Game of Thrones.
Okay, so Game of Thrones, right? I'm just wondering, any
Showtime.
of you out there who are fans of Game of Thrones,
But it's based on a book.
when
so
you
that's different.
when you heard that they were going to come out with a season 2, did you stop and go, "Oh, they've got no original ideas left. They're doing a second season? It's
based on a
How
book."
stupid. It's a sequel." I mean, it's ridiculous. You want more Game of Thrones because you love the characters, you love the story, you love the setting, and you want to see what comes happen next.
I do.
You can't tell me that, Dexter season 1 didn't wrap up perfectly. It didn't need a second season, but we wanted a second season because we loved those characters. We wanted to see what happened next.
And now it should end.
There were more possibilities. With Toy Story, it's no different. We love these characters. I've grown up loving these characters. They've done a great job in the Toy Story franchise of moving things along. Andy's gotten older and older. The toys themselves have faced new challenges as they've gone. They're now, they end Toy Story 3 with a new kid. Of course, it was the perfect way to end it, but that doesn't want to mean I don't want to visit these friends again. I want to see them again. And the second part of the question, will audiences be excited for it? Look, you are clinically one heartbeat above brain dead if you don't believe that a Toy Story 4 without any marketing at all would make $300 million domestically. I mean, of course, audiences would pour out for it. They do it great. These characters are great.
They're amazing.
If they want to do a Toy Story 4, by all means do it. And yes, the audiences will come, no doubt.
How mean was that bear? Lotso?
Oh,
he was mean. That guy was mean.
That was a great character. I love that. Well, listen, folks, we've come to that point in the show now for buy and sell. The way this is going to work is that Chris Lee is going to read through some of the other items in movie news today, and then Amy Rose and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Chris Lee, what do we got?
Rise of the Planet of the Apes director Rupert Wyatt is in negotiations to direct The Equalizer, based on the 80s TV show, and will star Denzel Washington in what the studio hopes will become a franchise. Denzel's first. John, buy or sell Wyatt and Washington doing The Equalizer?
Absolutely. I was heartbroken to hear it. I buy it. I was heartbroken to hear that Wyatt was walking away from the Planet of the Apes sequel. It just didn't fit his timeline. I think The Equalizer is a pretty cool story. Denzel Washington actually carrying a franchise with Rupert Wyatt? Yeah, sign me up. It's a buy.
Bye. I'm not familiar with The Equalizer, but I love Denzel. I love Rupert, and I think that would be really interesting. So I'm in. And Rise of the Planet of the Apes was great. So
yeah,
let's do it.
Actor and martial artist Bruce Lee is going to be the subject of a new film called Birth of the Dragon. The project will be a biopic action film based on actual events and will focus on the aftermath of Lee's famous 1965 duel with Wong Jack Man. In the film, the duo will team to take on Chinatown gangsters in San Francisco. Amy Rose, buy or sell another Bruce Lee biopic?
I'll hesitantly buy. My instinct was to sell it initially. I do like martial arts. Bruce Lee's cool. He's probably getting real old by now. So I think it would be interesting. But what got me was the Chinatown gangsters in San Francisco. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to sell this. Although I am curious about the idea of kind of a quasi-biopic with a little bit of, fictional narrative as well, taking on Chinese gangsters and how they shoot that. I think that's interesting. But, I mean, really, we've had so many looks at the life of Bruce Lee that I'm just not ready for yet another one. And so I'm ready to move on. So for me, unfortunately, I'll be there to see it. But for now, for me, it's a sell.
The Guillermo del Toro produced horror film Mama, which starred Jessica Chastain, was a big success and racked up $89 million at the worldwide box office. According to Universal executive David Cossey, a sequel is now being considered. John, buy or sell a Mama sequel?
It's Guillermo del Toro. Audiences seem to like the film. It's a nice little horror film.
Did you not see it?
I didn't see it, no. I did not see Mama. So, but you know what? Piggybacking on what I just talked about, it's a buy for me. Like I said, it's Del Toro. It's a franchise. It's a film that people seem to like and audiences went out for. It made a decent little amount of money because it was a small budget film. So for me, I see no reason not to do it. So yeah, I'm going to buy it.
Buy. I am a huge Guillermo del Toro fan, and opposed to some of his other films where he just slaps his name on as a producer, he actually was very involved with Mama. The look and feel and tone and atmosphere of the film was very Guillermo del Toro, and it was creepy. It was good. So bye. Let's do it.
All right, folks, we now come to the part of the show for Mailbag. Listen, if you want to ask a question for us to answer on air, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, we're getting like 30 to 50 emails a day, so we can't get around to all of them. But if you send them in to us, we pick out a couple and we answer them on air. And Chris Lee's got a few picked out right now. So what do we got?
I do. Aaron Ennis writes, Guardians of the Galaxy. I do not see much star power in them. X-Men started off with some big names. Avengers ended up with big names after the standalones. I'm thinking about the Guardians now and how they have nobody on board or in the works that could draw out the international movie fans like myself. Aaron's in Ireland. Maybe Americans know these names, but I have no clue about them other than what I have heard on your show. Do you think the film needs that one major star?
You know what, Aaron? No. This is an ongoing discussion really in Hollywood. Star names no longer have the drawing power that they used to have. I mean, for heaven's sake, Sylvester Stallone just did a movie that opened with $4 million. Arnold Schwarzenegger just opened a film that opened with $7.5 million. Stars do not necessarily draw people out. Now, let's remember, when the first X-Men came out, yeah, Halle Berry was there, but she wasn't the star of the film. The main, you had some recognizable names. Hugh Jackman wasn't the name that he is now, obviously. Right. But remember Thor. Yeah, Thor had Anthony Hopkins as Odin, but he was a small role.
Natalie Portman.
You had Natalie Portman, but she wasn't really emphasized at all. The star of the film was Chris Hemsworth. He was Thor. And people went to go see it, not because of Chris Hemsworth, because all he was Captain Kirk's dad for 5 minutes in Star Trek. Yeah. But now they know who he is. And I think the same thing. Now, look, with Guardians of the Galaxy, I firmly believe that we are going to be introduced to the Guardians of the Galaxy in one or more of the Marvel films leading up to Guardians of the Galaxy. We're going to see them at some point. And so that when Guardians of the Galaxy comes out, movie audiences will know who they are, even if they aren't really familiar with who the actors playing the roles are. So, no, I don't think it needs that big star name. I think you need talent, and I think they're doing a good job doing that. Amy Rose, what's your perspective?
With comic book, franchises, there's already a huge audience, regardless of the stars. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy is not a small story. Right. So, already you have that fan base. And, the actors that have been tossed around, Jason Momoa would be wonderful. People do know who he is. Game of Thrones, boom, Khal Drogo. And also Chris Pratt, I was a little surprised about him as Star-Lord as well.
I'm still surprised.
Yeah, I'm surprised as well. But, they were also talking about Jim Carrey or Adam Sandler doing the voice of Rocket Raccoon. And, different stars like that. But I think the comic book fans are going to see this. They're hopefully going to love it because I think James Gunn is going to do a really good job.
Yeah, no
so,
doubt.
would a big star help? Sure. But do I still think it's going to crush the box office? Oh, yeah.
Especially since it's going to be the lead-in film to Avengers 2.
Exactly.
I mean, that's really going to up it a lot. Now, and some people might make the argument, well, Guardians of the Galaxy isn't exactly a popular comic book. True. But Marvel films are very popular.
Yeah.
And we're especially coming out of it. Everybody who saw Avengers is going to see Guardians of the Galaxy.
And the characters are awesome. Drax the Destroyer, all these years. It's just awesome. So I'm excited.
It's going to be really good.
Yeah.
What else we got in the mailbag?
Denise C. writes, "What's up, you guys? I love the show. I remember when J.J. Abrams was brought on to direct the new Star Wars movies. You guys mentioned Kathleen Kennedy's next choice for director would have been Ben Affleck. I myself was very intrigued by that notion, but friends of mine were repulsed by the idea of Affleck directing Star Wars. So my question is, do you guys think that a Star Wars by Ben Affleck would have been a good idea?"
How can you be repulsed by an amazing director like Ben Affleck? I mean, Argo, Gone Baby Gone, The Town. If he has not proven to you yet that he can direct a quality film, then there's no hope for you. I think he's great. Am I happy with JJ? Oh, hell yeah. But I think Ben Affleck would have been a really good second option. So, yeah.
Yeah, Ben, look, here's the thing. Ben Affleck has just won this year every single major directing award from every award show.
Yep.
He won the Critics' Choice. He won the Golden Globe. He won the Directors Guild of America, which, by the way, nobody knows directing better than directors.
You'd
and
hope.
all the
You'd
directors came together and said, hey, best director in the world today, now, for this year, is Ben Affleck. And, Amy Rose mentioned the movies, The Town, Gone Baby Gone, Argo. This guy does nothing. He squats
So
down
good.
and craps out quality. That's what Ben Affleck does as director. Now, look, a lot of fans make the mistake of confusing, hey, I once saw Ben Affleck in a movie I didn't like. Fine.
A
with
lot of
a
them.
guy who directs the film. Two very, very different things.
Because I like him as a director more than as an actor.
And I actually like him quite a bit as an actor
He's
myself
gotten
as well.
a lot better. I honestly think
Yeah.
ever since he went behind the lens, he's become a better actor. Maybe he just pulled from something else. But some of his earlier work, I wasn't as in love with. He was kind of cheesy. But now I think he's the whole package.
Yeah, he's fabulous. He's a fantastic director. Any franchise would be good. And look, his name was brought up for Justice League at one point, which I broke my heart when I found out he wasn't going to do it. Now it looks like a whole film is going to happen. But I would have loved it if he had ended up directing
Smart
Star
choice.
Wars. But totally happy with J.J. Abrams.
Woo! Am I ever.
And so we're ready to go with that. Well, listen, folks, that will do for us. We've run out of time. But listen, stop what you're doing. Before you do anything else, click that subscribe button. Become a subscriber of our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It'll keep you up to date on everything going on in the world of movie news, our editorials, and of course, our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Listen, go out and see a movie tonight. Run on over to amctheaters.com for your theater and showtime information as well as your movie tickets. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/AMC Theaters. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AMC Theaters. And once again, click that subscribe button. And listen, if you want an audio-only version of this show, look down in the description of this video and you'll find links to iTunes and Stitcher Radio so you can just listen to us on your commute to work or whatever. I want to thank our host, as always, Miss Chrysalie Kennedy. Thank you so much, Chrysalie.
Thanks for having me.
Our AMC Associate Editor of Movie News right over there, Amy Rose Eisenbach.
Bye, guys.
And thank you guys. Listen, the most important part of this show is not what we have to say, it's what you have to say. So make sure you jump down to the comments section and leave your thoughts on any or all the comments we've discussed in this episode. Once again, thanks a lot for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. My name's John Campia for AMC Movie News. Bye-bye.